Okay, sweet. So I made a mistake today that I have made a few times, and I've decided to. So this mistake I didn't realize I was making because my account was large enough for me to recover the losses of this mistake. And so now that I'm trading with a small account, I've noticed that this is happening day after day. So this morning we traded, come on. This morning we traded, I'm trying to remember what I traded. I just watched that video too. Oh, Hood. Hood's the best trade that I took this morning. Thankful to have swung Hood. So I took Hood right out the gate. I had an issue with starting the stream, so I don't know if I took it live. I started the stream maybe a minute after open, but I took Hood right out of the gate, and then I mentioned it. A better entry for people who don't like to trade continuity, and if you are strictly strat, is here, right? You're above ADR, you have an inside fiber going into a really nice 15er, so right, so if that's your entry, you can just keep sailing up. So the problem that I'm having is twofold. Number one, I believe I got kicked out of Hood at a time I didn't really want to get kicked out. So that's the first issue. That means my stops are incorrect, and I need to adjust how I'm setting my stops, when, where, and why. So when I get kicked out of things I don't want to get kicked out of, I'm always looking to get back in quickly, and I don't think that is the best tactic. Actually, I think it's a terrible tactic. If you get kicked out, you just have to live with it and go to a higher time frame, minimum 15, to get back in. I find that very difficult to do, so it's something that I'm going to have to work on as I move forward. So that's my first problem. My second problem, which is really what's affecting my profit, although getting back in like too quickly is affecting my profit, what's really affecting my profit is not exiting at the appropriate time in the first, like in the AM session. So I trade the AM session really well for like 15 to 30 minutes. And then somewhere along the line, I give back profits, and like significant profits, like 50% of what I just made. And then I recoup it in the PM session. And so when my portfolio is quite big, I don't really see that effect. But now that it is quite small, it's jarring and showing me that my execution has to be a lot better. So this was my entry, right, on continuity, and you can go back and watch. This is a brilliant ad if you wanted to add, or if this was your entry, totally fine off this 15er. I'm exploring when to exit. I don't know the answer. So like I'm trying to figure out when do I want to do that? Like, because I'm playing weeklies and I'm just trying to figure this out, because if I'm trading weeklies, then this type of pullback here on the 30, like it triggers, it comes back, and then it goes back up. That affects me. I'm going to put my crosshair on everything just so I can see where I'm at. Because, yeah, so it's this. Right? Because even though you trigger the 15er, it comes here, boom, boom. It triggers that. But first it went down, right? So it had to trigger it down, and then it goes outside. So that movement on a weekly contract this early in the day and in the week is killing my profits. So I feel I'm stuck in between, like, do I keep holding it? Or like, when do I exit? When do I hold? Because also you had that the next hour, like it went up, right? So if you don't hold through this, then you don't get that benefit. And so I'm struggling to exit at appropriate times. And again, it makes less of a difference when I have multiple runners and all this shit when you have more money. But I don't know the correct answer because it didn't, because the first target, right, is ADR. So if that's my first target and I've blown through it, then my second target would be all-time highs. We didn't reach that today. I don't know the answer to my dilemma, but it is a dilemma that I have. So there's that. Because my ad is even above this. So that's what I'm struggling with. For fuck's sake. That's my current issue. And then the PM session is fine, right? Like you can just take, as I did, right? You can just take this hour and then just have a good time all the way up and through, and you can swing, which I did, right? Similarly, because I was up significantly, right, in the morning, and then you have these moments, right? So you're up, you're through ADR, your next target is where, right? You feel the gap, you're up, right? So how do I know when that exit should happen? This is a difficult issue because ultimately, you know, you buy a significant amount and you can just sort of scale out when this pullback happens, and it doesn't, and all this doesn't really matter or affect you. But when you only can buy a certain amount of contracts because your portfolio is a certain size, there has to be some sort of avenue or strategy. Because if you go back and watch the live, I also got into NVIDIA. I don't recall where, but it was a really fine entry. NVIDIA kind of went for it out the gate. So, you know, I'm just unsure. AMD had a similar, I believe. Oh, AMD's in this gap. I want to fill this gap, so less concerned. But yeah, that's my current dilemma. What I'm looking at tomorrow. The list is actually quite long. Let's do the 4-hour, the 12-hour, and the week. So, yeah, the list is quite long. And you know what? It could be easier for you if I did this. So the 12-hour is the daily chart. And the week is obviously the weekly chart. So 4 hours usually give us some really great entries. So I like to look at it overnight. I really want to take this inside day somewhere, anywhere. Frankly, my ideal would be boom, boom, right? Even a gap up. Like I would be pleased with a gap up. So, like gap up, 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 people take profits. We don't take out the highs and then we just go lower. Will be great. So I'm watching SPY tomorrow because it's an inside day. Note, it's an inside week, but not that concerned. Same with Qs, right? Situation is very similar. Tomorrow, NVIDIA could do something really interesting, which is, and you know what, I'll put the monthly chart up as well. Hopefully you can see all four. So it re-triggered the month today, right? And it could just take this weekly continuation down and we can do a 2-2 reversal on turnaround Tuesday, right? Because we have this gap down here. So I am watching this inside 4 hour to trigger this 2-up day to take this week continuation down. And ultimately I want to get to this gap. Let me see if there's any other gaps. I think this one got filled, right? Yeah. So that's the only gap. So I'm interested in that. There is another gap above, right? So a little bit back and forth. NVIDIA's not at the top of my list, right? This is trading against some continuity. It's a bit of a back and forth. I don't love shorting NVIDIA. So, but it's on the list. Meta. And you know, this can all be untrue in the morning. I usually like to do this in the morning, but since I'm here, because pre-market things gap and you just, all this work is for not. But that's okay. Meta, I think an outside week would actually be really interesting, and we have a double outside week on Meta. Because you have this failed 2 upshoot a day, the issue with this is that the month is quite strong. So unlike Nvidia that has re-triggered the month down, this one is showing a pretty strong month. So in order for all that to work out, I would need some big time movement, right? Because we do have this gap on Meta. So I'm open to it. I'm interested, right? So if I'm labeling like A, B, and C, I would say that Nvidia is a B. Meta is probably a B plus. So neither of those are like my favorite setups. What the hell? All right, let's see what else we got. Tesla, I'm more keen on. Reasons why. Still to the downside, right? First of all, we have this gap, which I would love to fill. I want to take the inside 4 hour. For goodness sake. What is going on? All right, I want to take the inside 4 hour so I can draw lines. Which would trigger the fail 2 up on the day, right? Same or relatively same trigger, right? They're very close. Take that, get into the gap, fill the gap, and we're well on our way to an outside week, right? Gap fill 338.88-ish. So you could probably get like 340s to like 335s on Tesla. Because if I want to get to outside week, right, my ultimate target is what? 325.60. Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. Then those 335s would be well in the money. Also, I want to mention that Tesla's in this tightening range, which I talked about in previous videos, right? This on the month, and it can't get out of it. Like, it came out and it came back in, right? So it's reclaimed previous month high, so it doesn't have as much strength, yada, yada, yada. That's why I want to short Tesla. So if I'm ranking these, then I would make Tesla probably an A- setup for me, okay? Amazon is not my list because Amazon is not my friend. All right, Microsoft. I like the inside day, the possible 3-2 week, but in terms of great setups, it's probably B plus. If we can get this. So inside 4 hour again, right? Inside 4 hour, inside 12, like inside day up. My issue is that it's very inside week, and I just don't see. Did it go back to the highs? That can inform what I want to do. So it actually hasn't gone back to the highs. Okay, so yeah, I do like this. So Microsoft. And then we would also be flipping the month back green, right? So I do like Microsoft. Inside 4, inside day, up, 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 flip the month. We'd probably still be inside week, but if we can do it with some strength, then we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to trigger that week up. But honestly, like, I think it'd be really great to just come up to here, like you're still inside, you have a 3-1, and then next week we can really blast off. So I like Microsoft for tomorrow. Cool. Google. Google's a short, but I don't love shorting. Well, I don't love shorting when this is so strong, but we've hit the high, so you're at exhaustion risk. So this could actually be a fun short. Yeah, I'm going to short this. It would be off the 3-2 day here. Yeah, I like Google. Down. I can explain it as soon as I put an alert on this entry. What was that? Google. Okay. Yeah, I like Google down. I don't know if we're going to get to this gap, but we do have a PMG. Well, 1, 2, 3-ish PMG-ish, and a gap, and we're coming off the highs. I don't see why you would not short this. Yeah, I like it. So I'm going to give this actually an A, because what you can get here, right, is you short this and then you immediately know if you're wrong, right? So your stops can be quite tight, but if you're right, then this is just escalator all the way back down. That could be fun. Yeah, I'm into Google. AMD also needs to fill a gap. It is in the gap. Damn it. But I personally don't want to trade this. I don't even know why this is on the list. It's all continuations, which you can trade and you likely should. I just, I don't want to trade this. But ultimately, we're looking at taking this monthly target out. 133.50. There's just better setups for tomorrow. QCOM. You know, I just cannot believe that they kept this red. QCOM looking for a turnaround Tuesday on this. So, boom. Up. I'm going to have Salonki or Mike explain a strat attack to me eventually. That'll be helpful. Okay, so yes, QCOM, 2 down, 2 up, inside week, but we can do a 3-2 week, and we can re-trigger the month and continue onward. I like it. Netflix, also quite like. It's stuck in this big range, just like everything else is a 3-2 on the week. If I zoom out even more though, I do like that it's triggered the month. So I needed to re-trigger the month and we can go up and just send it. But as for trading it tomorrow, I think there's better options. Tim. Yeah, definitely want to trade this baby down. I want to short this. It's had a really interesting run. My issue with Tim is that it's very pricey, and it's quite spready, if I recall. So what I'm looking for, inside 4 hour. So this is actually inside 4 hour to trigger 2-2 down for a continuation to a possible outside week. Really like that. Roblox. You could short it. I'm not that interested in it, actually. So, yeah, that's what I like. And that's going to be the end of this.